And focus on TeamLease, which reported its numbers post-market hours yesterday. A loss of about 29 crores, but that was largely on account of the one-time MAT credit of 49 crore rupees. Revenues up about 15%. Let's connect then with Ravi Vishwanath, who's the CFO of TeamLease, to talk a little bit more about the segmental growth and the future for the company. Good to have you on board. Good morning. And I just want to talk about the headline number. That loss that you reported, has it solely been attributed to the MAT credit, that one-time number? And do you think that we could potentially, on account of the circumstances that we're in, continue to see pressure on your bottom line?
Good morning. Yes. For quarter four, it's predominantly on account of the MAT credit write-off that we've taken. We have been indicating about the write-off for a couple of quarters now, but we did go ahead with the particular write-off now. Going forward, yes, we will not see such write-offs once again, but the business scenario is very different compared to what it was, say, a year ago or even a couple of months ago. Things are different. We have been impacted. I'm not saying we have not been impacted, but we do see a lot of silver linings actually. Margins will be under pressure for this quarter, especially. I think Q1 would be a difficult quarter. Not just for us, but for the economy as a whole. I think Q1 would be a bit of a challenge, and I don't think we would be an exception to Q1. But we do see a lot of green shoots, but we do see demand coming up into the formal sector. As things kind of improve, I think people do find that the current crisis people are talking about, where the migrant workers have gone back, and if you go back to look at the migrant worker problem itself, you'll realize that most of them are the workers who've been working in the informal sector and who don't have access to some kind of benefits and so on. So they're the ones who've been impacted. Our headcount reduction over the last couple of months that we've seen is actually something that we knew that is going to happen, because these have happened with companies who have been significantly impacted, not just during the current quarter, but who would continue to remain impacted for the remainder of the year as well. So what we think will happen is, when the migrants do come back, and with the labor law reforms, etc., kicking in, we do expect and hope that some of these people will come back into the formal sector. And that's something that we have been hoping for, and I think will play out that way as well, actually, because we do believe that when the demand comes back, we will be bigger beneficiaries of the tempting opportunities that will actually come up when the economy revives.
All right, fair enough. And, your margins too have been impacted. What is the outlook on your margins going forward?
Margins have been impacted not just for this quarter. Margins have been impacted for us for the whole of last year. We do expect margins to go back to the levels it was in FY19. That's our goal. We are working towards that. We have taken a lot of steps over the last couple of months in terms of rationalizing costs and kind of expenses. Costs typically we find are like fingernails. They kind of grow at night, and you do have to clip them once in a while. And we've used this opportunity over the last couple of months to kind of clip the costs, to cut the flab, and be leaner and meaner when things turn around. So we do hope we will be able to get back to the margin levels as what we were in FY19, and that's an immediate goal. And once we get there, we will kind of think of working towards even expanding those margins as we go forward.
What the outlook was on the formal staffing industry, and also, whether or not you see the digital arm also starting to contribute more going forward. It already is. How do you see some of these trends playing out?
The outlook for the formal staffing industry, I think, is definitely good. We've been underdogs for way too long, and it's about time that we actually break out and kind of grow rapidly. The level of formalization is so small, it's only 2%. So that number will start increasing and people will realize the importance of formalization. I think the current crisis would have put a lot of sense into people's heads about the importance of formalization, the importance of paying workers minimum wages, the importance of benefits and social security, and so on. So I think it will be it actually augurs very well for us from a longer term perspective. While in the short term we will have to just bear with this current pain. I think longer term we have no doubts in our head. It is a great opportunity. We just have to put our heads down and kind of execute. The technology part of it is going to help us a lot in the hiring. One of our weaknesses has been the hiring part, and which is where we actually acquired Freshers World, and we've got teamleads.com going currently. We have it in 8 languages in India, 8 Indian languages currently, as we speak. And the traffic on the TL.com site is actually increasing day by day. And we just launched it very quietly around September, October, and it has been and from about 5% during Q3, it's gone up to about 20% of the total hiring that we did in Q4. We expect to take that number to 40%, and what that means is my cost of hiring comes down, my time to hire comes down, and it's a win-win for us and for our customers actually. And and not to mention the candidates whom we are keep placing.
Absolutely. So, also just to understand whether or not you've seen companies revisit existing contracts, agreements, in the new normal, do you see any new demands or dynamics that may play out between clients?
We've been seeing that right from from the first week of April. We've been, just like how we've been renegotiating our contracts with our vendors, some of our customers too have come back to us asking us to reduce some of the markups, etc. We have acceded to some requests, and we have told them categorically that this can't be for too long. It has to be for a specified period. Given that the margins we operate are so thin, we have accommodated some requests from some customers towards margins, though not across the board. Given that we as it is operate on a very, very low margin base, yes, we have seen customers come back and ask us, and we have acceded to it as well.
For the second consecutive month, we've seen hiring decline, by over 60%. So how long do you think that the pain is going to persist? What is it that you want to see from the government on this front, as the economic repercussions could be quite detrimental?
Absolutely. You actually hit the nail on the head. We've been waiting for this revival for a few weeks now. We did expect something to get kick-started when some of the state governments went ahead and announced that they're willing to suspend the operation of most labor laws in their respective states. We do expect. There was some talk about the government taking the ordinance route to pass the 4 labor codes. We haven't seen much action on that front. The sooner we get those things done, we can put them behind us and continue to work towards whatever needs to be done from an economic perspective. I think the more the government delays matters on this front, it is going to be. Even the revival is going to get delayed. So we are prepared from in whichever way we have always said that we've been waiters. We are actually more like waiters in the restaurant than the chef. So whichever sector is hiring, wherever the hiring is going on, we are there to help. That's kind of applicable to us even now. So we just have to wait, and we wait for the economic revival. We've done everything from our end. We've been conducting a series of workshops on putting India back to work. We've been talking to CEOs, we've been talking to our candidates, we've been talking to the government authorities, just to ensure that we get this done sooner than later.